Have you ever been shamed for a decision you knew was right? The judgment can feel suffocating, like a spotlight on your deepest vulnerabilities. I recently faced that exact situation, but instead of bending, I made a choice that stunned them, and I walked away with my peace intact. It was a Sunday afternoon, the air heavy with tension. I had just made a decision, one that I knew was right for me, but it wasn't an easy one to make. I had recently quit my job. The corporate life, the 9-to-5 grind, the constant pressure to perform, it wasn't fulfilling me anymore. I was drained. So I decided to follow my heart and pursue something I had always wanted, starting my own business. But the moment I shared that decision, I was met with nothing but judgment. It wasn't the support I expected from my family and friends. Instead, it was the questions, the doubts, and worse, the disapproval. "Are you sure this is the right choice?" they asked. "You know, it's risky. You've got a good job, why throw that away?" I had barely shared my excitement when their voices drowned it out with fear, skepticism, and doubt. It started with my mom. She couldn't understand why I'd give up a stable paycheck for the uncertainty of entrepreneurship. She didn't see the vision I had, and instead, she saw only the risk. "Don't be foolish. You've worked so hard to get where you are. Do you really want to throw all that away?" The weight of her disappointment hung heavy in the air. And then it escalated. My friends, who I thought would understand, started joining in. They said things like, "This is going to be a disaster," or "You're putting your future on the line for something so unpredictable." And in that moment, I felt it, the shame. The kind that creeps up and makes you question your every choice. For a moment, I wondered if they were right. Maybe I was being reckless. Maybe I didn't have what it takes. But then I realized something. This wasn't their decision to make. This was my life, and I had to choose what was best for me. And I chose peace. I stood there in the middle of their judgment, and I felt a shift inside. It wasn't anger or frustration. It was a quiet, unwavering conviction. I thought about everything I had sacrificed to be in a job that made me miserable. The late nights, the burnout, the anxiety. I remembered my dream, the one I'd pushed aside for years because I was scared to fail. This was my moment to reclaim it. I looked my mom in the eye, and for the first time I spoke my truth. "I've thought this through. I know it's risky, but I have to try. This is what I need to do for myself. I'm not asking for your approval, but I am asking for your respect." There was silence. I could see the disappointment in their eyes, but it didn't faze me. I stood firm. And then I did the unthinkable. I turned around, walked out of the room, and left. I didn't engage in the argument. I didn't try to convince them. I just walked away. The moment I left, a wave of relief washed over me. For the first time in a long time, I felt empowered. The pressure lifted. The judgment no longer had a hold on me. Over the next few weeks, things started falling into place. I set up my business, started networking, and even landed my first client. The doubt and shame I had carried with me for so long melted away. And here's the kicker. A month later, I received a message from my mom. "I've been thinking a lot about what you said. I'm still scared, but I want you to know I'm proud of you for following your dreams." It wasn't just the apology I expected. It was respect, and I had earned it. But here's what I really learned. When you stand up for yourself, when you make a choice that aligns with your truth, you don't need anyone else's approval. It's your life, your choice, and your peace. And when you walk away from negativity, you make room for something better. Because the most important opinion is your own. I didn't need to convince them to understand me. I just needed to understand myself.